Hello, Lawrence. This is Tom. I've got that updated report on the hurricane that you were expecting. Are you ready?
Go ahead. We're all listening.
The hurricane has been upgraded to a Category 3 with winds of 125 miles an hour.
And a potential storm surge of 20-plus feet. The present forward speed is 10 miles an hour. It's likely to intensify within the next 12 to 15 hours. It's still headed for your area. It's projected to make landfall within the next 72 hours based upon its present speed.
I'll call you again in an hour or sooner if anything new develops.
Thanks, Tom. All right, people. We're going to need to evacuate 48,000 people.
Hurricanes. Numerous activities are coordinated simultaneously between local, state, and federal governments and volunteer agencies as the threat of these powerful forces make their presence known. This group is responsible for providing safety information, evacuation decisions, and subsequent safe sheltering for the public from the hazards associated with hurricanes. Hazards such as high winds, storm surge, flooding, and flying debris are deadly indeed and must be given their proper respect. In order to make informed decisions about the evacuation process, information from many sources and coordination of many agencies are required. Information such as the hurricane's strength, size, speed, projected landfall, and data from the National Weather Service is used. With the potential of loss of life and mass destruction associated with hurricanes, it is extremely important that evacuees not only have their own disaster evacuation safety plan in place, but to also follow the instructions of safety officials when evacuation becomes a reality. Not all hurricanes will require everyone to evacuate. Some will require only those in danger of the storm surge to leave their homes. However, in the interest of safety for all, especially hurricanes such as a Category 4 or 5, American Red Cross shelters may not be opened in risk areas. A risk area can include areas in the direct path of the hurricane, as well as other areas subject to major flooding or substantial wind damage. It is best to evacuate to a host area away from the main forces of the hurricane. These host areas are located safe distances away from the risk area and are open to all evacuees. Evacuation instructions vary according to the strength and direction of the hurricane, as well as such other factors as available routes, weather conditions, population concentration, and tourist seasons. Because of the nature of hurricanes, a particular host area shelter, which may have been opened in previous disasters by Red Cross, may not be open this time. Check for official information on shelter locations. Taking refuge in a building other than an officially designated shelter may not be totally safe, but may be the only option. Building and structures not specifically designed for shelters are sometimes called last resort refuge facilities. By not evacuating, you put you and your family's lives in jeopardy. Last resort refuge facilities may not afford protection from the hurricane's hazards. High-rise buildings are subject to wind stress, blowing projectiles, broken glass, and undermining of foundations by floodwaters. Even if the structure withstands the forces of a hurricane, it may lose electricity, drinking and sanitation water, and will lack bedding, meals, and security. Also, your whereabouts may even be unknown. It is always best to plan ahead and evacuate to an area away from the hurricane's target area. Police may need assistance from other public safety organizations to help patrol evacuated areas. Providing security for your property while you are away is a major concern of government officials. Evacuation time can vary greatly depending on your community's infrastructure. Heavily populated areas with few highways leading away from the risk area can easily become gridlocked. To avoid this situation, it is best to leave your home as soon as evacuation is advised by officials. Stay tuned to your local emergency broadcast stations for emergency information. This will assure you of having the most up-to-date information supplied by official sources. One of the key components in handling any type of disaster is that of mass care operations. American Red Cross's success has been developed through pre-disaster planning, coordinating of community resources, as well as sharing its vast experiences of over 100 years of responding to major disasters. When disaster strikes, American Red Cross immediately initiates its disaster plan, which is primarily focused on sheltering and feeding. While public officials are responsible for evacuation, Red Cross is responsible for providing temporary shelter away from the dangerous effects of a hurricane. There are a number of factors involved in selecting a hurricane shelter. Evacuation shelters will not be located in areas that are vulnerable to hurricane surge inundation. In determining such areas, mathematical models developed by the National Weather Service and the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers will be used by Red Cross. These models, such as SLOSH, sea, lake, and overland surges from hurricanes, are essential tools in determining the potential surge levels in any given area. Also, rainfall flooding is a critical element in the evacuation shelter selection process. By using flood insurance rate maps, FIRMs, prepared by the National Flood Insurance Program, flood inundation areas can be determined. Another element critical to the hurricane shelter selection is wind hazards. Either a design problem or a construction problem could eliminate a facility from being selected as a shelter. Key selection criteria include a building's construction, height, location, and access routes that are not tree-lined. Facilities that manufacture or store certain types or quantities of hazardous material and nearby buildings may be inappropriate as hurricane shelters. Drawing upon their pre-planning arrangements, American Red Cross personnel have not only identified shelter facilities, but have also designated space within these shelters for specific uses such as childcare and feeding areas. Pre-planning also includes assessing supply and equipment needs for each shelter. Even though your Red Cross hurricane shelter is perhaps far from home, you can expect to receive a place to sleep, meals and snacks, help with disaster-related needs, and emergency health services. Red Cross also keeps track of all families and individuals by registering them as they enter the shelter. Food service coordination involves determining the nutritional requirements of disaster victims and workers, sources of acquiring food, and equipment needed for preparation and serving, coordinating health service personnel to ensure proper sanitary conditions for food preparation and storage. Food supplies are usually coordinated with grocery wholesalers, retail grocery stores, and governmental agencies. Menu planning and food preparation is handled by volunteer staff who may normally operate a cafeteria or have experience handling large numbers of people.
Okay, people, we only have a short time until the first evacuees start to arrive.